Hey champs, quick pause in the episode because I want to talk to the yoga studio owners listening right now. If you own a yoga studio and you know the business could be running better than it is, then this is for you. Maybe your classes are inconsistent. Maybe your intro offer is not turning enough new students into members. Maybe your team is lovely, but the student experience is not consistent. Or maybe you're still making way too many decisions alone and the studio depends way too much on you holding it all together. That sound familiar? That is exactly why my Grower Studio coaching package is built for. I work one-on-one with yoga studio owners to clean up the parts of the business that actually move things forward. Your schedule, your intro offer, your customer journey, your membership conversions, and training your teaching team, your marketing, and your retention. And here's why I'm talking about this right now. Over the next 90 days, I'm reshaping how my coaching packages will look moving forward. So if you've been thinking about working with me, this is your window to get into the current format where I have weekly coaching with weekly accountability and having me right there by your side as we make decisions and move the studio forward. So I'm opening up a small number of June strategy calls for yoga studio owners who want to begin in July. So if you're ready to stop guessing and get someone in the trenches with you and get your fall working for you, book your free strategy call at yogabizchamp.com/book. And we'll look at where your studio is now, where you want it to go, and whether Grower Studio package is right fit for you. So that's yogabizchamp.com/book. All right, champs, back to this episode. Hey champs, welcome back to Yoga Biz Champ. I'm your host, Michael J. And today's episode is a little bit different because I want to talk to you about data, not boring data, but useful data. And some of you may know that my original certification as a business coach was with MindBody. And back in the day, we used to get a ton of data from them. And it was so critical for us to work with our clients like you for knowing things like what works, like what typically works. You know, back in the day, it was like 3 weeks works for an intro offer, unlimited. And so, but that was always backed by data. And so I just not long ago attended a webinar by another software company, Mariana Tech, and they're a big software, especially in the franchise kind of world and boutique fitness. But they work with a lot of studios. So I attended this to kind of just really hear about their data. And it was really quite great to hear some of the stuff. It's the kind of data that can actually help you understand why students become long-term members and why some disappear after a few classes and why the biggest opportunity in your yoga studio might not be more leads. It might just be the people already walking through your door. So in this webinar, it was mostly geared towards gyms, cycling studios, boutique fitness brands. But honestly, the data was just way too good not to translate into the yoga studio world, because while the examples weren't yoga specific, the behavior, the humanness, absolutely does apply, because people need routine, people need connection, they need a reason to come back. And the data shows there are some really clear patterns around when that starts to happen. And the biggest one that I heard on this was 5 classes. Once somebody gets to around the 5-class visit, the chances of them coming back in the next 30 days jumps dramatically. And so this is where I talk to my studio owners when I work with them. If they don't have the booking software giving them the data, they have to go in and do the daily detective work. And so going in there and actually looking how many people come in during that intro offer period. Are you watching that? You've heard me on this podcast. How many times have I said that There's so many studios out there that sell an intro offer. Nobody greets them on the front desk. There's no follow up, no emails, no SMS, nothing. And they're just allowed to what I call leak to get out. So, what I loved about this was 5 classes. So, once somebody gets to around 5 visits, right, that should be doable in an intro offer period, right? So their chances of coming back in the next 30 days jump. And for yoga studio owners, that should change about how you think about your intro offer, your onboarding, your front desk follow up, your teacher engagement, and your entire new student journey. Because the goal is not just to sell an intro offer, right? And that takes a lot. We know we have to do a lot of effort and sometimes money to get eyeballs on our intro offer, right? So the goal is to get that person to the class enough times that yoga starts becoming part of their routine. Big takeaway: your intro offer should not just be a discount, it should be a behavior building container. So if the data says 5 visits matter, then your intro offer needs to be designed around getting that student to 5 visits as quickly as possible. Not casually, not hopefully, intentionally. So if you, for example, offer a 3 week unlimited, the internal goal should be, can we get this person to 5 classes within the first 2 weeks? And that should change everything for you. It means your first email shouldn't just say welcome. It should say, let's get your first 3 classes booked. It means your front desk staff should not just check them in, they should help book the next class. It means your teacher should know when someone is new and personally encourage the next visit. It means your automations should be based on attendance behavior, not just time. Because a student who has attended 1 class in 14 days needs a very different message than a student who has attended 4 classes in 10 days. And this is where most yoga studios are missing money: member segments. Because this webinar broke customers down into 4 groups. And I think this is incredibly useful for yoga studios. Your top group is your ride or dies, or we sometimes call them the super fans. In the webinar data, they were only about 5% of the customer base, but they created around 11% of the entire revenue of the studio. All right, let me say that again. Your top group is your ride or dies. The data said they were only about 5% of the customer base, but they created about 11% of your overall revenue. So these are your anchors, these people, these super fans, these ride or dies. In a yoga studio, these are the students who come 3, 4, 5 times a week. They know the teachers, they know the other students, they probably bring friends. They are deeply tied into your community. Here's the warning: do not take them for granted, because these are often the people studio owners assume are fine. They're not always fine. They still need to be seen. That means milestones, personal recognition, birthday call outs, handwritten cards, class count celebrations, community invites, and asking for their feedback. These people are not just members, they are your culture. The next group is your committed group, the committed members. So in this webinar, they were about 11% of the base, but they contributed about 17% of the revenue. These are the people with a good routine, but they're not quite fully embedded yet. In yoga terms, they might come twice a week. They like the studio, they have their favorite teachers or times, they are close. This is where challenges can work really well. And a lot of my studios are doing a summer challenge, getting ready for that. And this was one of the most useful data points. Challenges often increase attendance during the challenge, but the higher attendance can continue for 2 or 3 months after. That's massive. Let me say that again. Challenges often increase attendance during the challenge, but that higher attendance can continue for 2 or 3 months afterwards, right? That's why we want to keep people in their routines in the summer when they usually get out of routines, right? If we can keep them coming in their routines in the summer, we know we still have them in the fall, right? That's massive. For yoga studios, I would be thinking about one strong community challenge per quarter, not random, not complicated, something that supports consistency. And based on data, again, it should be at your low attendance times, right? If you're tracking two things, sales and attendance, they have a different rhythm sometimes, right? So the data will tell you when your attendance is low. That could be spring break for when I had my studio, right? Everybody went out of town at spring break. That's a good time to do a challenge, right? So something that supports consistency, something like a 12 class challenge, a 30-day challenge, a 5 class intro journey, a meditation month, a bring a friend challenge, a try 3 teachers challenge, a bingo, a beginners consistently challenge, right? So the point is not just the prize. The point is building rhythm. And then this group is the biggest opportunity, the middle. This is the part I think every yoga studio owner should pay attention to. The large segment in the webinar that I went to was the situationship group, is what they called it. They represent about 72% of your customer base and contributed about 63% of revenue. That's huge. This is the group that likes you, but they're not fully bought in. In a yoga studio, these are the students who come sometimes. They buy class packs, they attend workshops, they pop in for yin, they may come in during stressful seasons, they may love one teacher, they may disappear for a few weeks. They like the studio, but it's not yet part of their weekly life, right? This is where most studios leak revenue. And the answer is not always to sell harder. The better question is, why are they not coming more often? Is it the schedule? Is it confidence? Is it price confusion? Is it lack of connection? Not knowing which class to take? Not feeling seen? Not understanding the membership options? Right? This is where your studio needs a system, not just vibes. You need to identify people who are attending once a week or less and ask, what would move this person from occasional to consistent? That could be a teacher reaching out. It could be a class recommendation. It could be a workshop invitation. Could be a membership conversation. It could be helping them book their next 2 classes. It could be a beginner pass so they do not feel lost, right? So again, 72%. So that's those class pack people are not people to ignore, right? And then the final group that was talked about was the on again, off again group. I remember these ones. They would disappear for months to years at a time and then come back. So the final group is this on again, off again members. And in this webinar, there were about 12% of the base and around about 9% of revenue. They come less than once a week, but they still matter. And this is important. Not everyone is going to be a 4 times a week student. We have to meet them where they are. Some people have kids. Some people travel. Some people run. Some people ski. Some people disappear in summer. Some people only come when life gets stressful. That does not mean they are bad members. That means they need a different retention path. For yoga studios, this is where flexible options matter, but not 27 pricing options on your website. You want a simple public pricing with smart internal retention tools, right? So public pricing, meaning that external pricing, but smart internal retention tools, maybe a pause option, maybe a downgrade path, maybe a limited membership, like a mini membership. Maybe it's a seasonal reactivation campaign, maybe a personal check-in before they cancel, right? The, I also used to say when people left, give them a graceful exit and they'll come back, right? So the goal is not always to force everyone into the unlimited. The goal is to keep the relationship alive. And the most important operational shift is, so what do we actually do with all of this, right? So here's the simple version. Stop only tracking who bought, right? I know you. I know you're looking in every morning, log in to see how your sales are. I know who you are. Start by tracking behavior, right? For every new intro offer student, you should know, have they attended class 1? Have they booked class 2? Have they reached 3 visits? Have they reached 5 visits? Did they come within the first 7 days? Did they come back within 30 days? Did someone personally connect with them? So this is the real front door of your yoga studio. And this is where I see a lot of studios fall down. They sell the intro offer, but there is no strong journey after the sale. No real attendance goal, no staff awareness, no teacher involvement, no follow-up based on behavior and data. And then they wonder why intro offer conversions is inconsistent, right? So here's the studio action plan for today. Here's what I would do with this info. First, make 5 visits the internal goal of your intro offer. Second, train your front desk to help new students book their next class before they leave, right? In my coaching packages, I have a customer experience training that is live with all the staff. And we talk about that, how everybody can get involved in helping that person achieve their goal, right? And the third is to have the teachers personally acknowledge new students and encourage that next visit. Fourth, you should have the software now, is building the automations around the attendance, not just time, right? And the fifth, identify your situationship student every month. And sixth, run one simple community challenge per quarter. Seventh, celebrate your most loyal students so they do not feel invisible. 8, create a win-back path for people who used to attend but have slipped. 9, use your data to coach your team, because your team needs to understand this too. If your front desk and teachers know that 5 visits dramatically change retention behavior, they will treat those first 5 visits differently. And that is the whole point. So, champs, this is the takeaway. Retention is not random. People do not just magically become members. They move through a journey, and the data gives us clues. If someone gets to 5 classes, they are much more likely to stay connected. If someone attends 3 or 4 times quickly, there may be a membership opportunity. If someone is sitting in that inconsistent middle, they may not need a discount. They may need connection, clarity, and a reason to build a routine. And if your best members are already deeply connected, do not forget to keep making them feel seen. This is how you build a stronger studio, not just with more marketing, but with a better system for helping real people become part of your community. And if you're listening to this thinking, okay, I need to tighten up my intro offer, my follow-up, my retention, or my new student journey, That's exactly what I help yoga studio owners do inside my Start a Yoga Studio and Grow a Studio 6-month studio coaching programs. And you should know this, you can book a free chat with me at yogabizchamp.com/book. And if this episode was useful, please share it with another yoga studio owner, and please leave us a rating and review. Until next time, see you next time, champs. Thanks for tuning in, champs. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps me out a lot. And if you're ready to open your own studio or grow your current one, visit yogabizchamp.link/podlink. Again, that's yogabizchamp.link/podlink to book your free strategy call with me and explore my Start a Studio and Grow a Studio packages. And you'll also get access to all of my free Yoga Biz Champ resources there. And you can also check out the video content on YouTube for more insights, and follow me on all social media platforms at Yoga Biz Champ. See you next time.